Now, I haven't lived in the Silicon Valley very long, but one thing that I've noticed is that y'all work real hard. A lot of you travel a lot, and you work extremely long hours, some at work and some at home. Y'all work so much. And the more I'm out in the community and I talk to people, the more I realize that that's just a part of this culture. That either you work really hard or you have worked really hard to kind of get where you are. I want to help you out a little bit. Here's a dollar. Here. Hey, can you pass these out to everybody? Yeah, just everybody here. Everybody just take $1. Kathy, you got come over here. I gotta make sure you get a. Can you pass those out for me, Jeffrey? And if you need more, there's some more up here. Yeah, I hope this helps. I hope this helps because you work so hard for your families, for the things that you have, for the food that you have. I hope this dollar can help you in that. And you're probably excited. You probably didn't think you'd come to church and I get $1 today, get some money today. But also you're probably thinking, what could I actually do with this dollar? I can't really pay taxes or buy food or even a cup of coffee with this. You can keep the rest. What can I really do? I mean, it's nice. It's a nice gesture. But what can I really do with $1? You just keep it. Keep it. It's fine. Have 2 or 3, whatever. We work so hard, and we look for a little relief from that work. And it's nice to get a freebie every once in a while, $1 here and there, find something on the ground, but in reality. $1 doesn't do much, especially here in Santa Clara, where rent is more than I ever thought it would be. $1 doesn't do much, and we work so hard to get the things that we have to relieve a little bit of the stress that we have, relieve a little bit of the pain that we have, and we work and we work and we work and we work, and we actually end up causing ourselves more pain. It reminds me of a young girl in Georgia. Ashlyn is a 5-year-old girl. And she's like any other 5-year-old kindergarten girl. You see her running around on the playground with her friends, and you'll see her in the classroom working on crafts with her friends, and you'll see her in the lunchroom eating the same food as her friends. From the outside, Ashlyn looks like any other person, any other 5-year-old young girl. But there's something different about Ashlyn. See, because if you see her running around on the playground, there's a teacher following her or very close behind. If you see her working on crafts in the classroom, you see that there's a teacher nearby watching out for her. And if you see in the lunchroom, she eats the same food as everybody else, but when it's a hot soup day, the cafeteria lady adds 3 ice cubes to her soup. See, one day, Ashlyn's mom saw her playing in the yard. She saw Ashlyn staring at the palm of her hand. She thought that was strange, that her daughter was standing in the backyard staring at her hand. And so her mom fairly quickly made her way out to the yard to see what was going on and what was the problem with Ashlyn. As Ashlyn's mom approached her, Ashlyn raised up her hand to her mom. And her mom immediately knew that something was wrong. Because Ashlyn's hand was bright red and blistered, and there was not a tear in her eye. And she asked her mom, "Why does my hand look so funny?" See, Ashlyn had put her hand on the engine of her father's pressure washer, which he was currently using. She was diagnosed with something called congenitive insensitivity to pain. She can't feel anything, any type of pain at all. She can feel the weight of her backpack and the feeling of paper money in her hand, but she can't feel pain. So when she falls down on the playground, her teacher is there to pick her up and make sure there's no bones broken. She's in the classroom and she cuts her finger on a piece of paper or a scissors. Her teacher's there right away to give her a bandage because she can't feel it. And her lunch lady puts 3 ice cubes in her soup because if she didn't, she'd burn the inside of her mouth. Ashlyn is completely numb to any type of pain. Sometimes I wish I had that disease. It's called SIPA. Sometimes I wish I had SIPA because this life is just really painful. Not only do I have a bad knee and a really bad back, but the world is tough on me and us. What other physical ailments you may have, the mental stress and pain is usually so much more. The weight that the world puts on you, to work harder, to be better, to do more. You never feel like you can do enough, to have enough. We live in a world that says that the amount that you have gives you your worth. And so we work hard for it. We work hard to have more, and we work hard to be able to do more. We work so hard to try to cover up that pain, to give us a little bit of relief from that pain that we feel from rejection. Reminds me of the rich man in our story for today. All we know about him is that he was a very rich guy. He had everything that he needed. And whether he had to work for it or not, we know that he lived well. A pretty comfortable life with not a lot of pain from this one verse that we read. He ate well every day and he was dressed in the finest clothes. And he had this wealth that numbed the pain. Numbed the pain of his heart and the physical pain that he saw. It numbed the pain of that wealth. We consume ourselves so much with work, pursuing wealth, pursuing stability in money, in finances, in things, that we become numb to the pain of ourselves and the pain of the world. This rich man had a broken, bruised, battered, beaten up, open-sword man sitting at his gate, at his front door. And he didn't even see him. He was completely numb to the world. Because this wealth, this pursuit of wealth, this wealth makes us turn inward on ourselves. It makes us internally focused and become self-absorbed, pursuing that stability in money, pursuing that stability in wealth. And whether you think of that way or not, I confess to you right now that that is in my heart too. That stability for me in my secular mind, in my broken, sinful mind, comes from stuff. And I become completely ignorant and numb to the world around me, to the people in need in my life. Ashlyn's mom is not worried about a little blood and a broken bone, actually, as weird as that sounds. Ashlyn's mom's biggest fear is an infection. Because you can't see an infection. And her daughter doesn't know that it's there. In one case of SIPA, a young girl had an appendicitis. And it wasn't until her appendix burst, and it was several days later, that they actually discovered that that was the problem. And she was extremely close to death. But she couldn't tell anybody because she was completely numb to the pain. It wasn't that the rich man didn't give to the poor man. That wasn't the root of the problem or the issue for the rich man in our scripture for today. The root of the problem that he was completely numb to any infection that was inside of him. The need and the complete and utter need for internal healing. It numbed him from himself. And we work and we work and we work to try to get ourselves in a comfortable place, financially set for the future. And our culture tells us with a little bit of work and a little bit of luck, we'll be okay. And we become numb to the need of our heart. A broken and bruised and battered, full of sores and wounds. Become numb to it. And we start listening to our culture that says, you need to work a little harder, and you need a little bit more luck, and you'll be fine. That infection is contagious. That infection goes deep, and there's not any wealth or any medicine on this earth that can heal it. We try to cover up the problems and cover up the wounds, but they'll be there. It's impossible to cover them up. And the more that we actually think about it, and the more that we think about the brokenness of our heart and the brokenness of our body, the frailty of our body, the more we realize we're less like the rich man and more like Lazarus. And we're curled up in a corner full of hurt knees and hurt backs, ashamed of sins that we've committed, of broken hearts and broken minds. And we face the dogs of the world who just desire to devour us. And we curl up in a corner and we just hope for a little relief. Just a little bit. We find ourselves in this corner, pinned against the wall, competing against a world that we can never be perfect, that really tells us we can never be perfect, tells us to drive for that. And we sit in this corner and we're broken and we're bruised like Lazarus, hoping that the gate will be open to us. But I thank God, the rich and mighty King that He is, has that gate wide open, and He is not numb or ignorant to our need. And He stands there with an open hand at the gate of His kingdom, ready and willing to pick us up off the ground, to bring us into the house, and not just pick up crumbs for relief, but to heal us completely to the core of our being, to clothe us with robes of righteousness, and to give us a hope and a future, and a promise of a time where there will be no more pain and tears and crying. And He sends out His Son to meet the dogs, to take upon our wounds, to live the life that we couldn't live for us. And He closed that gate as His Son faced the dogs of the world for us, as He gave us reassurance and a promise in a future with Him. And He restores us, and He heals us, and He gives us more than just a little relief. $1 doesn't seem like a lot. And neither does water and a little bread and wine. They don't seem like a lot. But what comes with that water and that bread and that wine comes a promise of salvation and of forgiveness for your souls. They don't seem like a lot, but they carry a lot of weight. $1 doesn't seem like a lot. But I have a challenge for you today. I don't want to see this dollar in the offering. That's why I drew a little cross on it. If I see a cross in there, I'm going to find you, and I'm going to give you another $1, or probably 2 or 3. Okay? Your challenge this week is to find somebody who needs a little relief. And maybe it's the homeless person outside the Safeway on Homestead Road, who I see every single time I go in there. Maybe it's a friend who is just having a really rough day, and you know that a conversation, a cup of coffee would go a long way. Yes, you'd have to input a little bit of your own money. Maybe it's a friend or family member who you haven't talked to in months or even years. You take them out for a nice meal, and you have a conversation. It doesn't seem like a lot. A conversation, a cup of coffee, a meal. But with a conversation and a cup of coffee to a friend who's having a horrible day comes a little compassion and a little love and a little mercy. To a friend or family member who you haven't talked to in a while, a meal and a little forgiveness turns into hope and joy. To a homeless person who has nothing, $1 is a little mercy and compassion. We have a world of people around us who are looking for relief. We also have a world of people around us who are numb to the needs of the community in which they live. God calls us to live in between. We come to this place every day to receive relief, to receive compassion, to receive God's love and mercy. Those things that are just words and may seem small, but they're huge. They're big deals. And we have a world around us that so much desires just a little relief from the work, from the necessary to do and to be better. And we have a message that cures that. We have a message that says that God has taken care of it, that He welcomes you into His house, that He gives you the benefits of His kingdom, salvation, and an eternal future with Him. $1 goes a long way. I don't know if Ashlyn's mom is a Christian, but in an article I read about them, she said that she prays every night that pain would be restored to her daughter. She says this: pain is there for a reason. It lets your body know that something is wrong and that it needs to be fixed. I'd give anything for her to feel a little pain. As we open up our eyes and come out of this numb state that we're all in, that the world causes us to be in, begin to experience the pains of the world. And it hurts. And it's not easy. Because it makes us aware of our own brokenness, our own need for healing, and it causes us to seek relief. But anything in this world is insufficient to cure that. You'll always want more. You'll always need more, because that's what the world says. God manifests enough in the person of Jesus. What seemed like something insignificant, a man, a baby born in a manger, what seemed something as insignificant as $1, He brought the salvation of the world and your salvation. In the name and for the sake of Jesus, through which we receive God's good and gracious gifts. Amen.